weird, right?
Yeah.
Sitting through the intro.
Yeah.
Instead of just adding it in after the fact. Welcome back.
It's all high tech now.
Yeah. So yeah, the intro just actually went through this new, was it a Rode Pro 2, Rodecaster Pro 2. So we have the intro and outro coming live now.
Yeah.
We're joined by a guest today.
Yeah, say hello.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Distinguished Walter Peters. Wait. I think I took it off.
There's some sound effects.
There is, an applause sound effect. I reassigned it. Before we get into it, we want to thank our sponsor, Hafla. Hafla offers a wide range of products and solutions for the woodworking and furniture making industries, from hinges and drawer slides to connectors and dowels, sandpaper, wood glue, shop carts, and everything in between. Exclusive product lines such as Lux LED lighting and Slido door hardware ensure that every project you create is built to last. Learn more at hafla.com. Yeah. And actually, we were supposed to have Ed on this week from Hafla, but he had a last minute business trip. So he's going to be here next week.
Yeah. But luckily, we got Walter.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. It's a little weird live monitoring.
This is the first time you've used headphones while recording?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've done it like when I've been on other podcasts, but typically that's like on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
I think, did we try it once?
I don't remember.
I think we may have. Whatever we were using, there was like a ton of latency.
Huh.
There's like, seems to be a little bit, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's probably settings, with this monitoring down here to make it sound better. Oh, I guess what you want to do is turn your own. You don't want to monitor yourself, but you want to monitor the other people.
Well, then you're going to be muted. You're going to have this muted feel when you talk because
that's true.
Yeah,
you got these headphones on.
So you guys only record locally, right? You never do like a virtual guest or anything.
No, it just I don't know. It's just not the same. I feel like the conversation, it's not as natural when it's through the computer.
Yeah, I can see that.
There's all those nonverbal cues and stuff that you miss, and so
we've been guests virtually on other people's podcasts.
Yeah,
and it's always a little bit not stiff, but it's stiffer than live in the same room.
Yeah, I agree. So what do you want to talk about?
Anything really.
Well, let's give everybody a little introduction to Walter.
Yeah, so, if you know John Peters, who's been on the podcast, is it 3 times now, I think?
Yeah, I think he's a triple star.
Triple threat. Only one to be on 3 times. John is Walter's father, and Walter is John's son.
There you go.
It's funny how that works out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I met you guys for the first time at Makers Camp, probably 2021, maybe 22. It's 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might have bumped into one another at your house.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. I filmed a live stream event or worked on it as a camera operator, and you were playing in it, and I didn't put it together till like a year later or something. We Star Productions.
Oh, that thing. Yeah.
I watched that that live stream. That was it was like the height of COVID, right?
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Yeah. You worked on that?
Yeah. That was like when I first kind of got into video. It was probably 2.5 years ago.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's a small world sometimes, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah, I had to unsubscribe from that guy's email list because it was just like nonstop.
Yeah, I do that all the time. You like, you show a little interest, and the next thing you know, you're just bombarded with peripheral stuff. It's
like, listen, I was in it because I knew one person that was, doing something. Yeah, that was the extent of my interest.
Now stop.
Yeah, please.
So, tell us about where you work and everything.
Yeah, so I work now at a CNC shop down the street. It's funny, I used to be, still am, but I used to be primarily a big video and photo person, and slowly over probably the last year and a half, I've kind of done a complete 180, and I've gotten more into woodworking and really digital fabrication.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, you can get your fill of it over at Timber, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's been really cool because, it's a lot of good experience. I've done a lot of fabrication work there, but machine operating, and more recently, I've been kind of more behind the computer and doing more Fusion 360 stuff and learning that, which has been really cool.
Nice.
Jeff's the master at Fusion.
Wow. The master of this domain. Fusion's cool. It's one of those things where it's so deep that, there's things that you could be proficient at doing one thing, and then, you get into like the mesh design or something. And it's like, I have no clue.
Yeah. I've learned a ton in the last probably month in Fusion, but I have probably barely scratched the surface of what you could really do.
Like Jeff says, it's super deep. Have you done any of the modeling where it sort of tests a fabrication, like you put a weight on it or stress on it or movement?
No, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've looked into it just like inside the program, and I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, so the thing that's cool about it is it's pretty basic stuff, but I'll do some of the layout work, and then in the same program it goes from CAD, which is computer aided design, to CAM, so you do all your manufacturing, and all the information for the CNC and the tools and the tool pathing all comes from there, and then even the drawings are created in Fusion, which is wild. So it's a powerful thing for sure.
Yeah, I like the ability to just to make like the shop drawings right from Fusion.
Yeah, that's been huge too, because usually I'll work outside of work when I'm working at home in my dad's shop. I'll bring my laptop out to the shop, which is always kind of a nightmare because you have to worry about it and whatnot. So knowing that now, I'll probably just print drawings from Fusion, which will be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we use that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm used to working off of like a physical drawing like that. Like when we were working at Tom's shop. So it's kind of been, something I've been used
natural progression.
Yeah. Yeah, being able to, because with SketchUp, we used to you could pull measurements and stuff and take a screenshot, but it's not the same as
you got to keep going back to the drawing.
Yeah.
Like, how big is that piece? Mm-hmm. And then you measure it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done much with SketchUp, but yeah, I've been working off of drawings now, but for the last maybe year, maybe a couple months, I've been working off of drawings. But before, I was all just little, all mental and kind of simple sketches on paper. So it's cool to learn all that and to have that, going into projects.
Well, are you doing anything specifically for Timber? Like, are you drawing their stuff?
I'm helping out with drawings now. Yeah. Which is, it's neat. It's really cool to learn that kind of stuff.
What are you guys working on over there? Are you allowed to talk about it?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I'm just careful with that,
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah.
Guys do some crazy stuff. And I know a lot of it involves NDAs and stuff like that. Yeah, we've seen stuff over there when we go over to visit. That's like that the thing you guys just did.
Well, that I think you can, because that's been posted and talked about.
That big retail.
Yeah.
For Kith was like 50 something foot.
Yeah,
bench.
that was wild. That was we just like kind of wrapped that up, which is cool. But yeah, they were huge, like curved cabinets, which is funny because before I started working there, I'd like worked at a cabinet shop for 3 months and had pretty much built the same cabinets every week for 3 months, and then walked in there and
base 36, base 24.
Yeah. So walking in there and seeing that, I was like, wow, this is pretty insane.
Yeah, we were there. Must have been
how many months now?
That was
right before you started.
No, I think I saw you guys in there when you went to borrow some like forklift stuff or whatever.
Yeah, we were there like a little bit before that. I think we were asking. That's when we went to ask if we could borrow and then we ended up coming back. And yeah, they were starting to stack laminate the pieces of oak, and then it's just crazy how much material went into that too.
Yeah, that was cool. That was where I really learned how to like mill properly, because it was like a lot of milling. It was cool. A lot of hardwood. I hope we get another job like that in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw the scrap pile. Got a text from the shop manager over there. There were some tempting looking boards in there, but we're not at the point right now.
No,
where we can take the time to dig through a scrap pile, but
yeah, and it's pretty easy to grab a lot of stuff and then it sits for a while, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean we're the scrap givers, not the scrap takers. We can't start doing it the other way.
Yeah, we run out of room really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got rid of
what did we give Keith? Like 4 or 5 pails full of stuff.
We filled the whole Jeep.
Yeah.
The back seat, the back of it, everything.
What do you consider like what do you completely discard as unusable?
If it's like a piece of, everything we get in is random width. So if it's, what would you say length? 2 feet?
Yeah.
It also depends on the piece,
Yeah, a lot of times there'll be these 1 foot chunks that get cut off and there's like a knot in it or something that made it a defect, we'll call it, that couldn't go into the finished work.
Yeah, a 4-inch long check at the end of the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly the ends of the boards.
Yeah.
Because we'll get 7s or 9s or 10s, 12s, whatever. And just the way it always breaks out, it's like there's always like a piece left over.
Mm-hmm. When we lay out the project, we try and be as economical as possible.
Yeah.
But you never know like how long the boards are going to be exactly and how close to the end you can cut. And then depending on the project, you might have like an 18-inch piece off 10 boards.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to match grain and color. And
Yep.
And what do you do with them? You save them for a little bit and then you give them away.
Yeah. Yeah, like if we're doing glue ups and you want to use one board and fold it for one glue up so that you get, good continuity, you might end up, we've done it before where we're doing solid slab doors on a project and we need 10 doors. So it's like you said, there's 10 cutoffs that are 3 feet long because that's just how mathematically it worked out.
Yeah.
And you save it and hope that you can use it again. But it's hard, to work that because the next job comes along in that species and you buy all new, So the only reason you'd get that is if somehow it was like a really beautiful piece and you worked it in or.
Yeah. But it's nice to have it there when you run short and you're like, oh shit, we got that 4-foot piece of white oak over there.
I like to always have one extra piece so I can do all my like test cuts and everything on it too.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we have like the premium scrap pile. And then there's the like firewood scrap pile. Yeah. Because it's, every board, if the end is good, you cut an inch off. And then so you have all these 10-inch long by 1 inch by 1 inch pieces that have wax on the end, you know.
Yep.
And then you mill everything oversized. So like when you're making doors, all your rails and stiles are long. So then you get to the table saw and you start cross cutting, and you have all these little chunks of
another 2 inches.
An inch off this side, an inch off that side. So yeah, it's a lot of just straight firewood. But we had those 550 frames that came off the laser.
Oh yeah,
because it's like a 3/8 inch border that gets left, and man, they piled up so fast.
So how do you? That's all solid cherry, right?
Cherry and walnut.
So what's the piece of stock look like when it goes on the laser?
It's 4 by 30 by 3/8.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you just take a day and like cut all that?
Oh no, that would take way more than a day. We bought it like that.
Oh really? That makes sense.
Yeah. So there's a company, Oak Couch Hardwoods in Wisconsin. And Matt from First Two has actually been buying stuff from there.
Oh, nice.
But that's just like when I was pricing the job, I wanted to just get an idea of like unit cost, and I found their website. And when we got the job, ended up going to them for the material because we were talking about it, and we tried to price it with our local company, and he referred us to somebody else, and Oak Couch is way cheaper. And the quality's been good.
Yeah, it comes nicely wrapped and sized, and
nice.
Very few pieces have any kind of,
None on this. This batch was better than the last. I mean, it's half the size, so half as many opportunities to screw up.
And you got to imagine 500 some odd pieces. I mean, that's
yeah,
a good job.
And this all came UPS, so literally 12 boxes showed up that were 30 by 24 by 5 or whatever.
Yeah, whatever the limit was, probably.
Yeah. And they were heavy.
Luckily, we know the UPS guy.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, so we had all those frames. We filled up. I don't think did Ed take any of those frames? Because Ed took a lot of stuff too.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
No.
He was hunting for the Boy Scout stuff. He was doing the plaques.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what else you do in the world out there, Walter?
I used to do a lot of video and photo stuff. I know I mentioned that, but really I just, I'm pretty bad at like doing, like having a balance of things that I do. So I'll usually get into something and then it's like, it's all I do for a while. So for the last, couple of months, I've been, going to work and doing that, and then coming home and usually just doing deep dives on something like Fusion or designing a project or maybe working on a project. I play a little music on the side.
What instrument?
Mainly guitar, but in the band I play bass.
Hey, is your brother? What does he do?
My older brother, he like frontmans and sings and plays rhythm.
He plays rhythm.
Yeah.
Would that have been your job?
Yeah, I think so. It's funny. I like when I was still in school, I went into this pawn shop and bought this like really crappy bass for like $100, and 2 months later the band formed, and they were like, "Well, you just bought that bass. Here you go.
You're the bass player."
Yeah. I still have. I played bass for a long time, and the bass that I hung on to is actually a pawn shop bass.
Yeah.
So I still got. I think I paid $200 for it. It's an Ibanez.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I used to be like bummed out about it, but now it's nice because it's not a lot of pressure playing bass, especially if you're not singing. So I just look at it that
way. No pressure gig.
I saw I don't know if it was from a movie or something, but it was like these two guys show back up to this, they're a band. They show up to the house and the bass player wrote a song, and they're like, "Oh, you wrote a song?" They're like, "Well, we're going to put it on the fridge." Like, treat him like a kid. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man, what kind of amp you got?
An orange bass amp. I don't actually own a bass amp. I borrow a a bass amp. It's an orange. I don't know what the speaker size is or anything, but it's pretty nice. And I play out of an orange 35 RT, like kind of practice amp for guitar. That's something I would like really love to have would love to have like a real amp one day. It's funny, my parents are gone with my sister on vacation somewhere, so I've been in the house by myself this week, and I brought my amp up to the living room because it's a big room, and I've just been playing pretty loudly, normally, or more loudly than I normally do, and it just doesn't sound great. I would love to have like a nice amp one day.
Oh yeah.
You still playing the I wanted to say dual rectifier. I know it's not a dual rectifier.
I have a little Mesa.
A Mesa Boogie.
Yeah, I have a Transatlantic. I have a Vox AC30, and I have a Laney Lionheart. They're all EL84 tube amps. Mm-hmm. I don't have a bass amp anymore.
I think that's what I'm going to do for my next project. I have it's like a 50 watt, 15-inch speaker combo, kind of run of the mill bass amp that's got a broken input jack. So I was looking at it the other day, and I think the next thing I'm going to do is probably build a simple bass cabinet and just buy like a crappy head on Facebook or something. See what that's like.
I'm deep into bass cabinets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was building all sorts of cabinets, and experimenting with folded horn designs and things like that.
It seems like a cool project. And it'd just be all plywood and maybe do some what do you call that? It's not leather, but it's a vinyl wrapper.
Tolex.
Yeah, Tolex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should check out this stuff called Duratex.
I think I've heard of that on like some of the videos I've watched.
Yeah, you roll it on
with like a contact cement.
No, it's
like a bed liner.
Yeah, it's almost, it looks like Tolex when it's dry, but you just roll it on. It's like this super thick textured paint.
Huh. Yeah, I have to look into that for sure.
Yeah, I used that on. I got away from Tolex because it was too time consuming.
Did you vent the back of the amp, or did you create?
It all depends on the design. And once you get deeper into it, certain speakers are made to be vented. Some are made to be, direct firing. And then you get different performance characteristics based on the size of the cabinet, the volume, and the port size, and the port shape, and all this other stuff.
Yeah. I'll have to check that out for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like something that you could get totally consumed by.
Yeah. It's one of those rabbit hole things.
You gotta be careful.
And especially if you go on the internet, because it's like everything on the internet, there's all this fanboy stuff and it's, once you get into something that involves science, then you get the geek element going.
Yeah, I fall into that trap all the time.
Yeah, that's like if I want to like buy something, like whatever. Usually tools too, but something outside of that, it's like I start looking, and then it's like the one I was gonna buy, it's like, well, it has this, and that's not the best, whatever, and then it's horrible.
It's real easy to get sucked in there.
Yeah, I just did that with that track saw. I was probably watching like track saw review videos for the last year.
You're weighing the pros and cons. Like, well, if I had just spent an extra $1,000, it's not that. Yeah. I don't want to buy it, and then then I don't like it because I didn't get the best one.
Yeah,
I'm a real firm believer that if you're going to do something, especially for a while, or especially if it's going to make money, you buy the best thing you can. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And it's a safe bet. That's like I was saying to Rob about this interface. So we in the beginning we were using the hell was it
was it a Behringer mixer?
I think it was a Mackie.
Oh, it was a Mackie, yeah.
We're using this Mackie Pro, what was it, Pro FX. Mm-hmm. And it worked pretty good. And then we had audio issues. So I think it was when we moved into my basement with the podcast, we switched over to USB mics. And they worked pretty good for a while, but you could only use one USB microphone at a time, technically. So you had to create this like MIDI aggregate, and it's like, it's not, the sound card can only recognize one. And it's like, you're kind of like tempting fate. So whatever. So we had issues again, as you heard on Manny's episode, while Willie's episode. Last week we were fine, so I don't know what happened, but so I wanted to get an interface again, and rather than just like try and get something that's more affordable and risk it, I'm like, just get the safe bet. You know what I mean? Because the time you spend worrying and dicking around with something cheaper, your money's just better spent.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, at the end of the day, if you decide tomorrow that you want to stop podcasting, you could sell that thing for probably 80% of its value, or probably more.
Yeah.
You know, that's what happens when you buy something good.
Right. It keeps its value more than
so you
something
can always,
cheap.
Yeah, get rid of it if you need to. Or
Yeah, the microphones, we had the Audio-Technica AT2020s, which is a good mic. We sold those for, I think it was close to what we paid for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got a good deal when we bought them.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, the microphone prices like went sky high.
Oh, really?
I guess with COVID and whatever. Because it was like right. So originally we bought, I think we just bought three. I was going to say three, because it was just the three of us. And then actually when your dad came on, because he was the first guest, we had to get another mic. And so he was like episode 7 or something. That was the first guest. Between episode 1 and 7, the price like doubled in the microphone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you guys buy everything on Reverb or?
This was Amazon. These we got on Amazon. The AT2020s we got on eBay actually.
Yeah.
They were like new, but just from a seller on eBay.
I get a lot of stuff on Reverb. I'm a big Reverb buyer and seller.
Yeah, it's funny. There was I don't know if it's a thing anymore, but there's a company called Retool. Have you guys heard of that at all?
No.
It's small right now, but I think it's the same idea. You can sell
That's
tools.
Reverb.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
The interface looks pretty similar too.
Yeah. Just open that up on my phone that way.
Yeah. I used to be big. I used to buy and sell pedals all the time.
Yeah.
I always have about 10 or 12 pedals, and I'm cycling through like 3 or 4 usually.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to always make like $10, $15 on every transaction, because when I wanted a pedal, I'd go on eBay or whatever and hunt down the best deal I could get. And shockingly, I amassed so much money doing that, just
trading
$10,
up
$15 at a time. I wound up buying all kinds of extra gear, like all the amps I have, all that stuff was basically self-financed through buying and selling stuff.
Yeah, that's funny. That's the thing with guitar and pedals. You can get to a point where you're more into gear than actually playing guitar.
Oh yeah, I'm borderline right there.
Well, that's like the hobbyist woodworker who's got a garage full of festool and woodpeckers and stuff like that, but they only get out there
right
a couple hours on the weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it is for me now, because I used to play full time, but now play a couple hours a week. Really, most of the time I get home, dinner, shower, little TV, and it's like, oh hell, man, it's like 8:30. It's time for bed.
Especially when you're doing the boxes and stuff like that.
Oh God, yeah, I'm exhausted.
My Facebook Marketplace for a while was flooded with guitar pedals, because I'd be scrolling through. I'm like, oh, Rob, check it out. It's an Earthquaker, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, and then I click on it, and then, so now Facebook, not anymore, but they were just feeding me guitar pedals.
Yeah, I just sold my first piece of furniture on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, I was going to your post made it seem like it was already sold. I was going to ask you.
Yeah, so I just was like, I made this chair, probably this time last year. It was like the first piece of furniture I ever made, and I was just kind of kicking around my basement. I kept bumping into it, and I was like, I'm just gonna get rid of this and throw it up on Facebook. And it stayed up there for like 3 months, and then someone was like, "Would you, sell it for this incredibly low number?" And I was like, "Sure."
I hate the low ball.
Yeah, that just I hate Facebook though.
Yeah.
That was like that bench,
Mm-hmm.
We ended up selling it for, I don't even know. I don't even remember what the hell we sold it for.
Was it 1,000?
Yeah, maybe. It was like a third of like what we wanted to get for it. But it's like, you know,
after a while,
like you said, you keep bumping into it.
You want the
and
space
like,
back, yeah.
Yeah. We have those two R2D2 tables in there. And we had a designer that we're working with come today. I'm like, listen, like, find somebody to buy these tables. I'm like, we're going to let them go for cheap.
They were concept pieces, really.
Yeah.
Proof of concept.
Are they going up on Marketplace or?
I don't know. I'm not, I don't want to open myself up to that.
Yeah, it's the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
But you know, it's funny. I know you guys sold the 3D printed stuff. You still do, right? A little bit.
Yeah. Like we have some stuff in inventory that.
Yeah. So I was super into that for like probably 2 months, 2.5 months. And everything was, probably 95% of my sales were all Facebook Marketplace. And it's actually great because they don't really take a crazy cut. They take their little transactional fee, but it's not like Reverb where you
Reverb didn't used to be like this.
Yeah.
It used to be real low key. It was not a lot of resellers. It was more peer-to-peer stuff when it first started.
Yep.
And then the big change came, of course, when Etsy bought it.
Oh, did they buy it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Etsy, yeah.
Huh.
But it used to be real peer-to-peer, small transaction fee, none of this handling nonsense, no 1099s, none of that.
Yeah, and that's funny. I always get emails that are asking me for all that information on Reverb and Facebook.
eBay got really bad too.
Oh yeah.
I used to sell stuff on eBay all the time, just like little whatever. You clean out the house and you're like, I got this thing that I haven't touched in 2 years. But eBay really became a buyer's market only, and the sellers were just thrown to the wayside.
Yeah. The Reverb has a little bit of that going on too. Like, the horror stories are always in favor of the buyer, claiming that, like, I just sold this wireless rig. And I always get the label through Reverb, even though it's a little bit more expensive. I always get the $5 or whatever it is
insurance
in case something goes wrong thingy. And so instead of it being $10 to ship, it was $18 to ship. But that $8 is the best money you could spend on something.
Yeah. The one time you need it.
Yeah, because something like that, it's a $250 sale. And then, somebody will go, I never got it. Or this.
Yeah, that's the worst.
That's the thing about Facebook, like shipping on Facebook is like you don't get paid until the thing is confirmed delivered.
Oh, man.
So like I sold a couple, and I don't know, maybe they changed it now, but like I sold a set of drills and they went out to California, and it was like a month before I saw the money.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I want to ask you guys. Do you think that impact drivers have a place in furniture making?
Oh yeah, we
use them all the time.
Yeah.
Really? It's funny. I hear so many different takes on that. Like one of the guys I work with, he uses an impact driver for all things you would probably use an impact driver for. But when it comes to like fasteners or anything kind of delicate furniture wise, he's all about the drill. And I've seen a couple people say that too.
I bet I know who that is.
RL?
Yeah. Buddy John, JCH Cabinets, he's like the same thing. He installing cabinets, no impact driver.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just one of those things. It's like I've always done it that way, so that's the only real reason that I keep doing it that way. Because really, for driving screws, a drill is better because you have the chuck, the clutch that you could set so you don't overdrive your screws. The impact doesn't cam out as easy. I think that's probably the main reason. And you also don't break your wrist when when you seat the fastener. Because with the drill, even if you have the chuck set, there's that last little bit and it always like snaps your wrist.
Yeah. Yep.
I feel like you can, it's like every tool. The more you use it, the more you can feather it, the more you know it. I never ran into a situation where I thought it was too aggressive or anything like that.
I think a lot of people don't like it because it's loud.
I kind of like that though, because it kind of like a confirmation that it's in and it's it's solid.
Yeah. The drill, it doesn't instill a lot of confidence when you put in the screw with a drill.
I mean, anywhere you put in a screw, it's not like you're working fine furniture. Then I mean, that's not a super fine element of that job. If you're putting a screw in there, I mean, what? So that's why I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not pairing tenons. We're running in screws.
Yeah. So, that was a pretty good diversion into the pedal world. I'll say one more word on it. Where I spend way too much time is on Reddit, on this subreddit called Let's Trade Pedals.
Oh, is that where you can, it's kind of like
it's just peer to peer. You put up an ad. Hey, I have, an Earthquaker cloven hoof, Boss, CE2W, blah, 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 looking for, or just send me offers. And, it's all regulated with moderators. And based on how many trades you've made, you have these designations like, I don't know, I must be like an expert trader or whatever, because I've traded so many times. So you're more trusted.
Is it like a closed kind of thing you have to get let into?
Yeah. Well, you have to join and then you can't do anything for, I think, 45 days.
Yeah.
God, you're just going to lurk.
So you have to stalk for 45 days.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's cool that there's like communities like that online.
Yeah.
I just think that's interesting.
So there are people that I've traded with a couple of times, and and anyway, it's the thing is I spend way too much time looking at this subreddit.
Is that how you ended up with that speaker? Was it through that Reddit?
Which speaker? No. That was through
Reverb.
Yeah, that was through Reverb. Yeah, I got that special speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of it's the same thing with woodworking. Any kind of niche thing, you're going to have nerds.
Yeah, I always fall into that with everything I do. It's funny. I got into woodworking, then like a month later, I was primarily watching more like tool videos than actually like project videos.
That's the best part.
But I think that's if you're like more of a gearhead type person, a collector, you just kind of fall into that,
Yeah, if you like the gizmosity of tools, and it's like this. When I ordered it, then I'm on YouTube and watching all the videos about how to use it.
Yeah, it's just
reviews and it's just a personality thing. Like people who are very specific about the way that they like to do things and the outcomes that they want to expect for whatever they're doing. I mean, some people just don't care. They just whatever.
Yeah, like my dad's like that. He's funny. He a lot of times I'll be working on a project and he'll be doing something, and he like sands things outside with a DeWalt palm sander, but he's got like two really nice sanders in there. I'm always like mind blown that I'm like, how are you not using this festival sander, this surf prep? It's funny.
Yeah. It is. Now that you bring it up, it's totally a personality thing. Because when I wanted to get, my wife said, just order your soup online, because I eat all this soup.
You still doing that?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm like online, looking for soup. Oh, I wonder what other companies make soup. Oh my God. Maybe there's some flavors of soup I don't know about.
Yeah, Google what soup is better than Amy's. Soup reviews 2023.
Yes. It's an illness of sorts.
Yeah. But it could really I get analysis paralysis because I do this with everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I know that about Jeff. That's for sure. Yeah.
That was like when we went to Dominican Republic, my wife and I, for that wedding. I'm looking up the resort and,
what are we going to do?
Just trying to get any information I could squeeze out of something about this place. Just because.
It's funny when I Like when it comes to traveling though, I don't do any of that stuff. I usually I just went to Nicaragua 2 weeks ago. Yeah, me and my 2 brothers went and our friends, and my 2 brothers, they're good at traveling and stuff, and I'm not that well informed when it comes to that stuff. So I was just like, yeah, tell me when the trip is and how much is it and blah blah blah. And I just walked into it blind. And when it comes to going someplace, I kind of like doing that, because then you're just kind of thrown into it.
Yeah. What was Nicaragua like?
It's pretty wild. We stayed in this. It was this surf camp in really rural Nicaragua. So we landed in this city of Managua and then drove 4.5 hours into the countryside.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty mind blowing. It was the first time I had left the country, and it was all mud and stick homes kind of, and dirt roads and a lot of cattle. And it's always kind of eye opening and cool to, see that.
See the developing world firsthand and up close.
Yeah, the perspective,
Mm-hmm.
Nicaragua is that next to Costa Rica?
I couldn't even tell you, to be honest. It's
I think it's more like Central America, though, right?
I think so.
Yeah, even when you went to the Dominican Republic, you step off the resort premises.
Oh, yeah.
It's a shocker.
Yeah.
Adam and Brad and a bunch of guys, they went surfing in El Salvador.
Yeah, I think that's pretty close.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, I was listening this morning on the radio, El Salvador, their new president. Man, he cleaned up the country, but it's just everybody went to jail.
Yeah.
There's all this collateral damage, all these innocent people that just ended up in prison. But
yeah, I remember when I was in college, in the new school, I had this economics course, and the professor was, they worked, I can't remember if it was the World Bank or whatever. Anyway, they were from Honduras. They were Honduran, and we were schooled in third world, developing world economics. And they were talking about how when a hurricane hits here, it's devastating. But when a hurricane hits a place like that, it could set the country back for 100 years, literally.
Because you lose your economy with all your
lose your economy, and then they go into debt because it's not like we're giving them all this stuff. The companies, American companies and European companies, go in there and help them rebuild, and then they're in debt.
Yeah,
for all and it just so that's part of the cycle of poverty that exists in these places. They can never, ever really get their head above water.
Yeah, come out of it. I've never thought of it that way. That's interesting.
Yeah, that was one of the cool things about the new school. It's you ever hear of it? It's in New York. It's this super, they're renowned for being a real liberal arts, lefty kind of place. But
is that where you went, the new school?
Yeah, that's where I got my degree. I know. It's one of these weird places where you make up your own curriculum. There's not even to get a degree, there's no program. You have to put together your own degree program.
Wow.
Your course structure, and most of the professors are from the outside world, and they'll teach a class or two and then go back to their jobs. And so you get all these really cool perspectives like that. I took economics, and that's what we studied. This woman came from Honduras. She, was a finance minister or something like that. And we learned all about these things.
So you could make up your own graduation requirements, kind of.
Yes.
Wow.
It was up to me to make sure that the classes I had would work out in the real working world.
Now, does anyone do you have to create it and then go in front of the dean and say okay, these are the classes I plan on taking? And
no, I never even went to a guidance counselor. They had counselors available for you,
but there's a credit requirement.
There's a credit requirement, and
I guess really that's how it should be. Who cares? Let me take how many credits is. It's 120
usually. Yeah.
Let me take my 120 credits And what do you care if I take biology 104 and psych 101? Who cares? I'm paying the money. Let me take 120 credits. Give me a diploma when I'm done.
Right. The only thing that they had like prereqs, like you couldn't take an advanced course without taking a prereq.
Yeah.
Unless you could test into it.
Yeah, that was always the thing that bugged me with when I was in college, is that you had to hit this minimum requirement of a certain amount of classes in certain disciplines that might not have anything to do with what you're going to do. So you end up like, you know, I used to, every semester I would read the class catalog of everything that was offered, and I would find out about these cool classes, whether it be an audio class or a guitar course or a sculptural thing. And I would have to fit that into a pretty tight schedule because, you know, you had to take these kind of weird electives that, you know, just I can't even remember them looking back on them. I just remember being, you know, having to hit a certain mark in, you know, these areas.
Yeah, I mean, I had I have a concentration in history is what it's called. I don't have a degree in history, but I took all these history courses. Like I took a history class about, it was called What is History? Like the writing of history and how it has all these effects on society. Like who wrote history? Who determined what's in the books?
The victors.
That's the simplest way to put it. And, you know, think about it. If you just give it a little bit of thought, like what happens to all those stories and like what is the truth and what isn't the truth? And is there multiple truths? And it's it's a great place to get an education if you have the right kind of mindset. If you're curious,
for sure.
And if you want to ask questions and delve into these deeper subjects. I didn't really know this about the new school. It happened to be convenient to where I worked.
Yep.
It was in New York. I worked in New York. It wasn't cheap. I mean, it was like a $700 credit school.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. You gotta. I guess like any learning experience, you get out of it what you put into it, right?
Yeah, for me, I'm so blown away by, I guess it's kind of obvious, but what you can learn on the internet. You know, it's like the best.
He astounds me with what he learns on the internet.
That's like the biggest, like, get what you put in thing. You know, you have all of this information at your fingertips, and you just need to want to learn it, you know, like want to find out whatever you're trying to find out.
Yeah, no, 100%. Everything that I've learned well has been through the internet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get the old timers who are like, you can't learn this from a YouTube video. I'm like, well, I learned basically everything I know from a YouTube video.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I went to school for like I guess my degree was called telecommunications with a, you know, concentration in video technology. I didn't learn like anything in these classes. I mean, a little bit. I got access to Adobe Premiere and, you know, had a handful of lessons on how to make a cut in a clip or something like that, adjust an audio level, but nothing that, you know, you couldn't learn in a 15-minute YouTube video.
Yeah. Yeah, because people making those videos on YouTube that's what they do. You know, they're actually doing that. They're shooting and editing video, whatever. The person teaching you in college, you know, more times than not, their job is they're a teacher teaching this class. They're not out there doing it for real.
Yeah.
So that's the funny thing about like woodworking and kind of learning it online is like one of the things I've thought about is there's definitely no substitution for time on the tools and experience, but I think you could be like a younger person and be pretty competent where like I feel like a lot of old timers kind of look at, you know, younger guys that are woodworking and like to maybe rag on them or something. But what they probably don't realize is that you don't have to put like 30 years into a shop now to get the experience that you could get in 2 years with the internet, which is kind of wild.
That's the grumpy old man syndrome.
Yeah.
Well, it's like all you had before was books, and woodworking books are great, but
I couldn't do one.
you have to be of a very specific learning type to really be able to get a lot out of a book. I mean, you can learn.
It's hard.
Yeah, because woodworking is it's a physical thing. It's like learning to play football from reading a book. You really can't do it. But it's better, you could learn more watching people play football or watching an instructional video about football than you could from reading a book. So it's like the same thing with woodworking.
Yeah.
If you could see somebody doing it, it's a lot more beneficial than just reading it.
For sure.
It's like I told you, like when I cut my first dovetail, I learned how to do this from a book. So I cut the pieces and I'm still looking at it like, how does this go together?
They always have those sketches too, and they're the worst.
So, yeah,
I like the more like historical and existential kind of woodworking books than like those Taunton Press books, like how to build kitchen cabinets. I can't read that.
No.
Yeah, for me, I can't really do books. I don't like reading that much, but I love watching videos, and I really like listening to podcasts because you can kind of listen to a podcast and do something that's kind of mindless and make it enjoyable. So that's kind of my way for learning something new. I'll find like a kind of a neat podcast on whatever it is. So like I was just doing all this, learning all this new CNC stuff. So I started listening to these CNC podcasts, and then you kind of get an idea of the terminology and the lingo. And then once you get that figured out, you can kind of, figure out what's important.
Right. You hear people inside speaking in the right terms with the jargon and everything. And
So who are some of the YouTube people that you're watching these days?
I've been watching this guy, John Grimsmo. He's a knife maker, but he does, he makes knives on a CNC machine. So you can watch this guy kind of start, and he starts in his garage with like pretty much nothing. And now he's like, I think this guy's knives sell for like $1,500. And he's got a couple employees, a big shop, and he's out in Canada. Watch him a lot. As far as like woodworking YouTube goes, I obviously watch my dad. But I think lately or in the past couple months, one of my favorite guys to watch has been Mike Farrington. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him.
Yeah, I've watched it. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I have watched him in the past. He seemed like a good one. Like he actually, because a lot of these guys don't really seem like they know what they're doing, but he definitely does.
Mm-hmm. So I like Mike Farrington. I like, I don't know. I haven't been watching a lot of woodworking videos lately, but yeah, you gotta like sort through them to find the right ones for sure.
Yeah. No names, but have you changed your opinion on some people that you watch now that you've got like shop time
100%.
under your belt? You're like, oh my God, I gotta get rid of this guy.
Yeah. That's why I started on, that's why I kind of have been more active on Instagram, because I was like, wow, I want some of this free stuff. Like it's crazy to see like some people that like just like kind of have like these wild shops, and they're it's like that tens of thousands of dollars of tools, and they're not really like authorities on the thing. And I'm definitely by no means any authority on any of that stuff, but it's
that's the first step, is acknowledgement.
Yeah,
because that's like us too. You know what I mean? We do it, but what do we know? We know more than some, and not as much as others.
That's true.
Well, I felt that. I started working at I graduated in the spring, and then I went into like a job as a full-time video editor and did that for like 2 months. It's pretty burnt out. So I left that job and kicked around for 2 or 3 weeks, and at that point I was really into woodworking and making things. So I was like, oh, I'll go work at a shop for a while and see what that's like. And I started at this cabinet shop, and within like 15 minutes on my first day, I was like, wow, I don't know anything. Like I was hit with a wall of just like, realization that I didn't, know anything.
That's good though, because a lot of people, think they know more than they actually know.
Well, I definitely did. I thought like I walked in.
That's the common disease.
But they hold on to that.
Yeah, I walked in pretty confident with my tools and everything, and then I was just like, wow, I can't work like these guys at all. It's kind of neat to to realize that.
Yeah, I mean, being in that position is necessary to progress as someone who makes things. I mean, I guess really for doing anything. It was like the same thing for me. I started out as a carpenter and I just got thrown in. I didn't even have anybody really to teach me anything. And it's just like, all right, I guess I got to figure this out.
Go over there and do that.
Yeah. Like put casing around this window. I'm like, okay, never done that before.
Let me look at this other window to see how it goes on.
And I've said it before, it was always like that fear of being found out that I didn't know what I was doing that drove me to learn, learn more.
It's good to be curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to be hungry.
I think so.
Yeah. Just in general, once you get complacent in life, I mean, not that you have to be like totally striving 100% all the time, but just in general, I think that it's good to be, on your tiptoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to get stagnant. That's why I ultimately left that shop after 3 months, because I was kind of doing the same thing every day, and it was trying to get any information from anyone was like pulling teeth, and I was God. I gotta get out of here, and it was the right move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, over there, I mean, you guys are always doing all kinds of different stuff. I mean, you're doing like the industrial manufacturing for those, I don't want to say too much, but, for those, you guys make those plastic things. I don't want to speak cryptically because people are going to have no idea what I'm talking about. But you guys do a lot of different stuff. You're doing, from the retail, curved retail benches to, making things for these industrial applications. Like you guys are doing all kinds of stuff, sculptural stuff. And
it's cool. It's a good environment. It's a really good group of people where you can, probably you can be the type of person that wants to, learn and do stuff. And that's, met with.
It's valued over there.
Yeah. Where like it's I think that's a common thing in shops though. I've talked to a lot of, I have some friends that work in trades and I know a lot of people now through Instagram and you guys, who work in shops and have worked in shops. And I think it's a common thing for a shop to be kind of like a negative place, at least like a cabinet shop, or whatever.
We worked in one of those places.
Yeah. Then they grind you down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it's a business, at the end of the day. And that hanging over some people's heads makes for an uncomfortable mix of, work and time management and, your value as a person and as a worker.
Yep.
There's a lot of stress involved in running a business that doesn't always come out in the best way with some people.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I mean, we have the same stresses here. You just try and deal with it differently.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing too is it seems like you guys have a lot of like nice variety at work. It seems like, I know you're doing the boxes again, but when I go through your Instagram, it's, it's always something new.
Yeah, we do a lot of weird stuff. Yeah, I don't know. You saw we had those 4 flower boxes out there, which have like those CNC carved bezels and an octagonal wooden box, and the thing that Rob built for the church, this crazy back altar with all this
the laser cut fretwork,
cut fretwork, and then big coat closet. I mean, I just drew up a bunch of like powder coated steel stuff this morning for somebody.
And then there's those those bedside tables, a simple little design.
Yeah. So like the full gamut of, I mean, we've been lucky that we've sort of carved a niche for ourselves as being guys who can execute these things that maybe other shops can't, or maybe just don't want to.
Yeah.
Like even like the countertop. It's kind of a straightforward thing, but it's a solid wood countertop that's like 11 feet by a little over 4 feet. Got a sink cut out in it.
Yeah.
It's 3 hours away. You got one shot to do it.
So when you do that, do you is it against the wall, this countertop, or is it just on like an island?
This was an island.
So that's kind of nice, though, because you don't have to worry about scribing. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we did a maple. We didn't build the maple one. The clients, they just wanted a maple butcher block, and so we spec'd out a bally block. And that was to 3 walls. We got lucky with that one, though.
Yeah.
It was no scribing, really. Just, had an angled cut on one side because the wall was a little bit out, and it went right in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the island, man, that thing was big.
But we know of a similar kind of counter that was being built that it did not go well at another place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got news on that yesterday.
Because you can't try and beat the system all the time. You can't try and game the system. You know what I mean? There's people who've done woodworking for a longer time than we have, and they've proven certain ways work.
Mm-hmm.
So do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody already made the map. Don't try and forge through the forest with a machete.
Especially if you're not, equipped.
That's right.
To be coming up with new theories on woodworking.
Right, yeah. But, the top went in. We had the right reveals, sink fit, and it was pretty flat. We built it a while ago. It stayed flat.
Clients were happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take, still got to price out those barn doors for them, but we'll take another trip out there. I think, 6 weeks, 7 weeks or so. They want us back out there.
Yeah.
Is that Hampton's kitchen?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a hike.
Yeah.
Friday was a long day, and we were only on site for, 3 hours, 4 hours?
Yeah, yeah. Because it's still a 12-hour day, no matter how you shake it out.
Mm-hmm. It's a 12-hour day, yeah, if you only work 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's 3 hours there, at least 3 hours back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Usually coming back, it's more. So we left at 4 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
We got out there about 7:40. So 3 hours and 40 minutes out there.
Yeah. We hit that traffic, like an hour's worth of traffic.
Yeah. And we left at 11 and we stopped at Warshower, but we got back here at 3?
Yeah.
So it was probably about the same back.
Yeah, that was always my least favorite part about working at that cabinet shop I worked at, because I would do a lot of deliveries, and I just like being in the shop. I don't want to go anywhere.
Oh yeah, you're preaching to the choir.
We hate going places.
Yeah, so we're building a couple little nightstands, and they're getting shipped out to Utah. So that's cool,
Yeah. So how do you prep that shipment for delivery?
They're pretty small, so they're 20 inches wide, 16 inches deep, and 9 inches high. They're just like little floating nightstands.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just box them up. There's 2 of them. We'll put, in individual boxes and just getting shipped UPS ground.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, the designer was like, I forget how it went down, but I was like, yeah, we could do it for this price or this much shipped. Because I thought it was in North Jersey. And she's like, oh, they're going to Park City, Utah. I'm like, it's going to be a little bit extra for shipping. I'm like, it's a little further than I was expecting. Because, any opportunity to sell a job as just delivered and not installed.
Yeah, we love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to get into. I think going forward, doing my own stuff, I'm going to just get into smaller things that are easy to pick up and you can throw them in a box, send them through the mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, freestanding stuff. Install really just takes the wind out of your sails.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done much of that, but I would imagine it's probably pretty nerve-wracking too.
Yeah, it never goes as planned.
Yeah.
So it's very stressful in that you got to figure out how to make it work, and sometimes it's better than others.
Like the cabinets.
Yeah, down in the Hamptons. I'm not sure if we talked about it on the show, but so we have these wall units that they go into these niches. There's a bump out in the center where the fireplace is, and they fit into these niches. So we built a cabinet. I forget what, an inch or an inch and a half smaller than the opening. Then the face frame is long to be scribed, and the top is long to be scribed. When we get down there to put them in, they wanted us to put them in before the floors were done and then take them back out. Well, they cased the doors or the trimmed openings that are adjacent to it, and all of a sudden the geometry didn't work anymore. So you couldn't slide it in, and you couldn't get it in an angle.
Oh man!
So we're like power planing the back corner of the thing off, and we ended up getting them in. But something that should have just been literally 30 seconds to just push it in.
Yeah.
Now it's 30 minutes, and
and still, and everybody's watching.
Yeah.
Yep. That's funny.
And even when it's like not like a mistake, I mean it's a mistake, but nobody did anything wrong. You still feel like the client is like looking at you like you fucked up the cabinets.
Yeah, that's always weird. I remember one time we had to I was doing this delivery with these cabinets, and the customers looking at it, like really excited to see it. And then we realized they weren't going to fit through the door. So then we're like taking off the door, and she's like, "Oh, why are you taking off the door?" And then we're taking off the railing, going down the stairs. And it's always like a, kind of uncomfortable thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it's like what in Seabright, we had to lift that cabinet up. Oh
yeah.
There's always something. I mean, installs, we'd be happy if we never had to leave the shop, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my whole goal. That's, that's what I hope to be able to do one day.
Have an install team. Some people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like when I was a caterer.
Peter's going to be our guy.
Yeah, I used to love going out on site. I didn't like being in the kitchen in the shop.
I could imagine that being in the kitchen is kind of tough all day.
Yeah, you're just making recipes and stuff like that for 600 people and this and that. And where on site, it's the event.
Yeah, there's a social element to it.
Yeah, and you have to pull it off, and so it's sort of like game day kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like with video. I used to do a lot of freelance video. I did a video for you guys, I think, a year ago. But that was like, I always really liked editing, but I didn't really love having to drive somewhere, and like set everything up and all that stuff.
Yeah, we talked about doing like the lower level gigs.
Yeah.
Where you gotta break down, set up, break down, and then set up again. Jeff's got the best expression. The juice isn't worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a drummer. Like I went to a show, I went to see a friend play the other day, and I saw the drummer after kind of starting to get his stuff together. And I was like, wow, that looks so heavy and just so much work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Even playing guitar. You got to haul your amp. You got to carry your guitar. Got to bring 2 guitars. Well, in case you break a string, you got to have a backup going. You got pedals. You got to, bag full of chords.
Gotta get some roadies.
I'm done with that. I really, I love the performance part of it, but I don't want to deal with any of the other stuff.
Yeah, I'm surprised more places don't have like a house amp and drum set that's always set up. I'm always pretty surprised when I see, like, when you go and see a show at a small place where there's going to be 3 or 4 bands. It always shocks me when I see
No backline.
Yeah, like the drummers are, the drum kit's getting changed out, or at least a good portion of it is every act.
Yeah, I mean that's like I'll play the Pony. That's a nice place. They have a sound man.
Yep.
You get a sound check. There's a side door. You walk right in, put your stuff right there at backstage. I mean, it's super easy and chill. I don't want to go play at a bar and grill where I got to wade through customers eating dinner.
Yeah.
And that's not for me anymore.
Yeah, I could understand that.
We got to remember Tommy G's playing.
Oh, yeah.
On the 15th.
We got to go check him out.
Yeah. At some place in Union Beach.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah, we got a buddy, Tommy G, Manhattan Stained Glass. He's a master. Yeah,
he really is.
Stained glass work.
That's cool.
Like worked on Frank Lloyd Wright stained glass and stuff. It's him and his son. They're masters of the craft. But he's a musician. And
he plays bass, I think.
Yeah. Somebody in his band, I think, lives like right around here, right? And they rehearse down here. But the last time he was out here, we missed him.
Yeah, and you'll have to let us know. None of those 11 o'clock shows.
Yeah, oh God.
Yeah.
That means you go on at 1.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
I'm almost ready to get up. I'm closer to getting ready to get up than go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I woke up at 2 for the Hamptons the other day. It was like nothing. I'm like,
really?
This is only like 2 hours earlier than I usually wake up.
You typically get up at 4?
4 o'clock.
Wow.
Yeah. I got up at 4 today.
7 days a week.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I just like
you can't change.
Yeah,
if you get up at 4, you can't not get up. Like if I sleep in, it's till like 4:30.
What time are you going to bed then?
Like I probably fall asleep realistically before 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you're
me
that's
too.
wild. Your day's almost done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
We put my son to bed at 7:30. After that, that's it. I'm not leaving the house. I'm not after work. I'm not leaving the house.
Yeah.
Unless absolutely necessary.
Bedtime is 8:30 for me.
That's crazy. That's like, it's like when my day's kind of shutting down. But I don't go to bed that late either. I just can't I can't sleep before 11 o'clock.
Yeah. I used to be a real night owl.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
But I value the time in the morning before the wife gets up to have to myself. I need some peace of mind. So like I used to stay up later than her so I could have that time.
Yeah.
But now I needed to find that time somewhere else. I can't stay up later than her anymore. Yeah. So I had to start getting up earlier and earlier, and wound up 4 o'clock is the sweet spot.
Yeah.
That's how it was for me too. Like I used to wake up, I don't even know, 5:30 or something. Mm-hmm. This is only going back a couple years. And then it was 5, and then it was 4:30, and then now it's 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So what time will you kind of start on a typical day here?
Well, since we moved here, I usually leave the house at about 6.
Yeah.
So I'm only 10 minutes up the road.
And I leave at 6:30.
That's nice. Yeah, you guys are really cool. I think I've actually drove past the van going to work once or twice. It's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer starting early, rather than staying late.
Yeah, I don't do good work at, when it gets later in the day.
It's diminishing returns.
Yeah. I think you're more likely to get hurt too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, today it was like I looked at my watch. I'm like, damn, it's only 8 o'clock. I'm like, I got a lot done. I finished so much work between 6:30 and 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it usually takes me about an hour to get rolling, and then the next hour is very productive.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that from school too. I mean, studying, like you can only remember so much stuff. You can only study for so long before the time you spend isn't as productive. So I used to be really structured.
Yeah.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
I wanted to I just wanted to use that sound.
Yeah.
I was looking for an opportunity.
How we doing on time?
I've been going for an hour and 15. We don't want to hold you up here all night.
No. Yeah, it's almost bedtime.
Yeah, jeez. We started late.
Yeah. I mean, we get up early, we go to bed early. It's just the clock has just shifted around. We don't really sleep any more or less than most people.
Yeah.
Yep.
I slept till about 6 on Saturday, but Friday was it's a hell of a day.
Yeah. I don't even use an alarm clock.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Just that you're just that.
I just
used
get
to the
up.
cycle.
I
Yeah.
don't trust myself that much.
Me neither.
I have my alarm. It's like a puzzle.
Yeah.
And it's like 5 rounds where like it's a grid. I don't even know, 6 by 6, and like 5 squares light up and then they disappear and then you have to recall it.
Oh, really?
I'd never be able to shut that
there's
off.
no way I could like fall back asleep.
Is that an app? A separate
Yeah, it's
app?
called Alarmy.
Oh, wow. I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works great. Yeah, Alarmy. ALARMY. And they have different, you could set different difficulty levels and durations. You can make it so that you can snooze it. Like my wife, I hear the alarm start going off like 5:30. I leave, she's still asleep.
Yeah.
Like, why? Just wake up. If you don't want to wake up till 6, just set the alarm for 6.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
different personalities.
Yeah. I got my routine. I kind of fell into it.
Yeah, it's funny. I always I feel like since I started working in shops, I've slept better because I'm kind of walking around all day. Even if it's not that it's not like doing anything crazy physical, but just being on your feet all day, I think helps you just fall asleep at the end of the day.
Oh yeah. I probably fall asleep in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not there yet, but I'm within, a half hour, which is nice.
if I feel like I'm not quite ready to fall asleep, I'll read. I always have a book next to the bed and I'll read a chapter.
It's smart.
And then next thing you know, it's like, I'm tired, man.
Yeah, lights out.
Yeah. Or sometimes I think I'm going to read and I climb into bed. I'm like, oh man, this is comfortable. Let me just put my head down here and boom. Jeff's nodding in agreement there. He knows that.
Yep. Yeah. My wife will look over. I'm just asleep.
Yeah. Sometimes my wife says, oh, you want me to put, she'll put on this, what kind of music would you call you'd have when you're getting a massage, like that kind of.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
That relaxation.
Yeah.
Whale sounds.
Do you want me to come up and put some music on? I'm like, don't even waste your time.
Yeah. You want a glass of warm milk?
Yeah. I'll be asleep before you get upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fall asleep while I'm trying to find something on YouTube to watch. I pause for a second and I don't even realize I just fall asleep.
Yeah, my new trick is I listen to podcasts with the shut off timer. I'll set it for 45 minutes, and that way I know if I fall asleep before that timer cuts, then I'm within that window.
Oh yeah.
Well, what do you think?
Yeah, let's wrap her up.
Well, we appreciate you coming out, Walter.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, this was a good episode.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again. When we're not under such a tight not time constraint, but
yeah, we get a little bit of an earlier start.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was like a 5-minute, not even drive to here. I didn't realize the shops were that close.
They are, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we drove, kind of by the shop on the parade on the St. Patty's Day parade.
I saw that. That's cool.
That was fun. Now we got the Memorial Day parade.
We got to get more candy for that one.
Yeah. Yeah. 6 pounds.
You're just throwing it out of the Sprinter as you're driving by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking, being the driver, because there's kids everywhere, and they kind of
they come running right to the car.
Yeah. And then sometimes you throw it, and it doesn't go as far as you hoped, and it's Man, I'm going to get some little kid killed.
You want to be that guy.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to try this. We're going to try outro music on the thing.
All right, let's hear it.
Thanks for listening.
Everybody take care.
As always, Rob and I thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. If you want to help support the podcast, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Again, we appreciate your support. Thanks for tuning in.